Alright, so Vince, I know you're going to be happy when you hear this, but I had some time last night, and I probably have another hour here. And what I decided to do, I did some buffing for you. I got 3 of the 5 parts buffed. And this last little sliver of time I have, I'm going to try to get this part buffed too. And you know, because these guys don't show up on Saturday morning on time, I'll probably get some more of it buffed. Especially Mark. I think Mark's a sleeper. I think he takes sleeping pills or something. But anyway, you can see this is what I've been doing here. Look at this. I've been working the midnight oil here on your project. I got the big buffer out. I got the 2 buffers hanging over here. Plenty of 2500 paper. 2 things of compound. But you know, the bottom line is, I may get this buffed out tonight. I don't know. We're going to find out. I know these parts are absolutely spectacular. Now, if you can look at, you can see the R1 in the parts. You can see the parts. Hey, this would be funny to do. I just thought of this. Let's see if we can see Vince in a part. There's the real Vince. Vince is in his own, look at that. He's in the paint. You believe that? Glenn doesn't look so good in the paint. Who's that guy in the middle, that fat guy? But just kidding around. There is definitely, this is a labor of love, Vince, but you know what? Before this night's over, we're going to have something special done here. Now, I've been working this part for quite a while, and what I'm finding out is it's just a big part. That's all there is to it. But I thought if I could at least even just get this one done tonight, Vince would be all impressed. I mean, I'd be impressed. Anyway, there's no secret. What I wanted to emphasize, there's no secret to how to do this. And what I try to do is, as people visit the shop, give them a hands-on demo and let them do one part or some part of it. And it's a skill that you can, it's not like playing golf. You can pick this up relatively quickly, but it's very energy consuming. As you can probably tell by the fantastic physical shape that I'm in. Jeez, if only that were true. Anyway, the 2500 sandpaper, what I do, and again, I take this piece, make sure I've got all the little pock marks and flaws out of it. I'll do this piece, flip it around, this piece, divide it up like a checkerboard. And the same thing when I go to buff it, I'll buff one piece at a time. And there's a big complex part. It's obviously not going to take, 5 minutes to do it. It's going to be a labor-intensive thing. But before we start the buffing, I want everything to be blocked out dead smooth. Okay, moment of truth, Vince. I wish you were paying me by the hour. Now when it's a nice big part like this, it kind of stays on the table where it belongs. I wanted to mention this. See, some of these parts, this one, relatively easy. I'll do the rest while I'm sitting on a chair. Relatively easy. But what's going to happen, some of the parts that are flexible, fairing parts, are usually a pain in the ass to do. But anyway, I can't even tell you, that's coming right up. So, what the deal is, though, with all of this stuff is to do one section at a time, one section. And this, with these compound curves, you almost have to use this soft pad. And the black pad is made for compound, and the other ones are made for just fine tuning. But it's always the black pad that's good when you go right after the 2500. I just do one little spot here and see if you're impressed. Now, one of the tricks is not to overdo the compound, not to put too much on. Too much does not make it go a lot better. And I think you've seen that in real time. And of course, we have to do the whole part. Vince, you're a lucky guy. That's all I got to say. That's going to look beautiful. Boy, when you see this color, you don't really see it under fluorescent light, but out in the sun, this is a spectacular color that Luciano donated to the A-team here. Now, I thought I'd mention one other thing. When it comes to all these buffers and things, there's a great website that has a lot of good tips about buffing. It's AMMO NYC, Ammo New York City. And they really have some high-tech stuff, doing Ferraris and Lambos and stuff. But basically, what I always try to do is use the cheapest tool possible because I'm cheap. But this one seems to work pretty good for the final buffing. Now, this is another trick you can use. While you still have compound on here, spray a little bit of wax. And of course, you can do this when it's on the bike. Now, all of them that I know of have this speed controller, and I usually use speed 3. If you go too fast, the paint gets hot. Oh, that buffed up beautiful. That really buffed up beautiful. And we take it under our by our table here. We have better lighting. Vince, you're probably going to have one of the best looking BMWs, period. Now, as always, you know, keep in mind, this is, when you do this kind of work, you get dirty, the mirror gets dirty, everything gets dirty. It's just dirty work. It's like mining coal. But boy, in the end, you have something special. And I think, Vince, to be honest, I think you're going to be just as happy with this bike as if you went and bought a brand new one for what, and I know they're about 20 grand. I think yours will be nicer. Now, to be honest, I don't know. I'm not sure if I have enough energy to finish this. I'm an old man. Come on. Anyway, I cut up another 4 or 5 sheets of 2500 grit, and I'm going to try to get, maybe even just get this sanded, and just to show that, well, I can pick one part at a time, but this is going to be the hardest part of all for one very simple reason. It's going to be hard to hold while it's buffing. So maybe what I'll do is I'll sand this tonight, and then when Glenn or Mark get here, they can hold it, or Turbo Steve, somebody can hold it so we don't run the risk of catching it with an edge or anything. You know, the problem is once I get started with this and I get my my second wind on this, and what happens is I start seeing the result and I get all excited. I guess I'm like a cook. You make a pizza pie and you go take a taste and then you want to eat the whole pie. I don't know. But I do know one thing. Vince is going to have one absolutely spectacular BMW. This is going to be a showstopper. And again, just, you know, just to show how quick that can start to just go from, you know, the first time you ever do this for somebody, you go, ah, it's so nice and shiny, I want to keep it wet. And then you show them this, and then you show them the buff part. They get religion. Just not sure what religion. Well, if I have one more cup of coffee, I'll have enough, a bottle of vodka. I'll have enough energy to finish buffing that tonight. And I'll sleep like a baby. Well, you can get an idea of how much sandpaper it takes to do a part this complex. Very time consuming. Now, there's always some really handy tools, and I wanted to show this because I think you can figure this out. The buffer is really not going to get up and around that corner very nice. And rather than risk putting a big gouge in the part, of course, a Harbor Freight drill, $9. And these pads, the white ones are very soft. Let me just show. Come off with Velcro. You can buy this for about 12 bucks at Harbor Freight. They come with, I don't know, 3 or 4 other nonsense things. This is the best one of them all. Actually, not the best one. There's one with fur on this that's even better. But what's nice about this, it's very soft. Now, if you do this real fast, of course, if you catch an edge, this part goes flying. So my theory is to just go as slow as possible. One of the few tools you need, and you don't really need a lot of tools, but the ones you need, you need. And of course, you always have the choice, like we have with model aviation. You just buff the whole thing by hand, and you'll be stronger than me then if you do that. Anyway, the trick here is to set it so you have a low speed. If you put it on a high speed, it's going to catch the part and flip it over the fence. And you always want to go, in other words, if you're doing this edge, I want to be going that way. I don't want to catch it here. It's going to push it away. But up in here, this is one spot we want to get as nice as possible. And right at the end here, just throw a little liquid wax in there. And what that does, it rejuvenates the compound, saves you some money on compound, because that compound is really expensive, as anybody that went to buy it knows. The trick is go slow, don't let it catch an edge. Let the compound do the work. So it looks like tonight I'm going to finish everything here for Vince. And I'm sure he'll be thrilled. Well, that's it, Vince. Wow. It really did come out pretty nice. That's it, my friend. And I hope when you pick it up, you bring some blankets and a little baby food jar. I can give you some touch-up paint in case you scratch it putting it together or a rock hits it or something. Well, I think that's just, you're going to have the nicest BMW, period. And if you find a better one, let me know. Anyway, we got to get ready for tomorrow. It's our big shop day tomorrow.